Today we're just going to do a quick video on how to putty glaze a window sash. So what we want is you want to get your putty into a nice pliable consistency. So often when you buy it in the tubs, like in this sort of setup, I don't know if you can see down in there, there's a bit of linseed oil around, and it'll often be like this one is too wet. It's very wet, very sticky, so I need a lot more drier putty into that to get it into a more pliable consistency. So this particular piece is good as it is. Right, I've needed this for quite a while, and I've got it into a consistency that I'm happy with, that's going to work well on the sash. So I start off by taking a small piece. Now what we want to do is using your thumb and your fingers. Your fingers are your rolling device, and your thumb, one for a better word, your thumb is your applicator. So what we're doing is essentially we're basically laying the putty down almost, except I'm holding it in my fingers. But so I'm putting it down and I'm using my thumb to squash and to cut, but then I'm using my fingers to roll the putty along so that I can keep squashing and cutting with my thumb. So I roll forwards, like I roll the putty in a, well, what would you say, in an anti-clockwise way, rolling forwards like that. My dad, I don't know how he does it, but he rolls it backwards in a clockwise way like that, but I could never do that, so I ended up just doing rolling it forwards. So I just roll it in like that. So when you've been doing it enough, when you've been doing it for a while, you get pretty good at it. So you know, you can roll it in pretty quickly. Roll it in like that. Try not to roll too much in, because you're only going to be cutting it all off and it's just going to get in the way anyway. So you just want just a bit more in than what you need. You're only covering the rabbit area where your glass is sitting. So we'll start off like that. Now these are the knives that I use. These aren't proper glazing knives. I just use these ones because they're square and I like them. I just find it easier to use to use in the corners. By all means, use a proper putty knife if that's what you have and that's what you prefer to use. It doesn't really matter as long as your end job is right. So I've got my knives nice and clean. I've got everything off it so that it's going to run well with the putty. Now I'm just going to lay it in basically on a more or less a 45. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the top edge of the knife on the top edge of the ribbon of the bar here, and I'm lining up the bottom edge of the knife with what I can tell is where the rabbit is. So I do that, and then I'm just going to keep pressure and just pull it along and roll up like that in the corner. And then I just get rid of my excess. Carefully, I'm just going to run that in a bit. And then I'm going to take that same procedure the whole way around. So I'm just going to run that in, keeping the pressure on it, run it off, get rid of the excess. Same down this side, keeping an eye on that rabbit line so that I've got a consistent width in my putty line. And the other thing that I'm doing too, as I said before, is I'm keeping a consistent pressure on there, because as you're pulling down, you want it to come nice and straight. You don't want it to be doing this, because your putty's going to end up looking pretty awful. So same again, find the angle, pressure on, run it in, run it up, take the excess off. Now, within reason, I'm self-taught, so somebody who is a glazer by profession would probably do it differently and probably far more efficiently than I do. But I'm self-taught, and this is how I do it. So for my corners, I'm just cutting basically like a miter, and then just running the excess in, just like that. So I've got a nice tight, nice clean joint in the corner. Same with this side. And I'll do that all the way around the sash, running the excess off. This putty still isn't quite right in its consistency. It doesn't really want to work well. Like whenever I want to run the knife along it, it just doesn't want to play the game like it should. So sometimes, like what I've just done there, I undercut in there. And that's all there is to it. What I do after that, I won't do it just at the moment because I've got this whole sash to do, but what I do after that, spray it with glass cleaner and carefully just wipe any finger marks, putty marks off the glass, and that's basically it. Hope you learned something. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.